Again, it's Verdier again here, and you'll notice that I have the hood up today. Well, it's the first time I've actually looked at the engine in a long time. As you can tell, it's actually a very new car. It's still pretty under there and not covered in a bunch of dust and stuff. I'm sure that'll change over a period of time. Besides, I wanted to leave it running a little because I wanted to warm it up. Now, this is not really my forte, but I was really making this video because the complaints concerning the hood are beginning to heat up a little bit more on the forums again. Mostly the fact that the hood is extremely light and tends to flutter and shake, either with high winds or going past semi-trucks and so forth. This is definitely true. It does definitely happen. I don't know of any real way to reset it. I mean, usually there are stops, like right here. There's one right over here. And some people have dealt with the with issues with the actual hinges and so forth. That was mostly due to some issue that had happened at a dealership, and that the hinges were bent. Now, this hood is so light that you basically could probably feel like you could pull an Incredible Hulk with this thing, rip the hood off, and beat off the carjackers, assuming you left your manual in the glove box, which I do. This is a very light hood. I have seen it flutter. It does shake. It doesn't make any noise, but it does shake when it drives. And if you tend to stare at it a bit, it can be a little disconcerting sometimes. I don't think this is a major issue. However, some people are feeling, especially on the forums, are feeling that they're taking it to the dealerships and want to put it to Honda's attention that they have some concerns. I too, if the latch weren't working so well, and this latch seems to be working just fine, I always got to remember how to open it up, that this hood would go flying, and I mean really flying far. It is very light. So light that the best way to close it, literally, is to let it drop from its full height, which is what we're going to do. Now, I made the mistake of putting it down nicely. The only time I've ever opened this up is because I got a fake error in my app telling me that that there was something wrong with the brake fluid or something like that. There was nothing wrong. Of course there was nothing wrong. So I opened it up, and when I tried to close it up, when I pushed down, the thing dented in and then undented while I tried to close it. So I'm going to show you one way that most people, or at least a lot of people, are saying good way to close this thing. So please excuse the camera work, which is going to suck as usual. Okay, basically, let it go. Drop it down, and kerplunk, it closes just fine, a lot quieter, much better. There are a few other things I wanted to go over today. I took the car into the dealership. She's looking beautiful with her wonderful driving lights. She is filthy, unfortunately. It is nasty out here, and we're due for some more snow. But, I've had a couple of issues going on. Both of them possibly non-issues. Some of them just may be aspects of the car. I had spoken about a slipping sensation, and someone on the Inside Forums had already explained this to me, but I apparently didn't understand because because I went in with another explanation I got on one of my comments concerning this, and I think they felt I think someone may have felt a little insulted that I ignored them. I didn't ignore you. I just don't understand things properly all the time. Now, the car tends to, when it switches from regular combustion engine or combustion electric motor together to pure electric power, sometimes you can feel a slight acceleration and you can feel the switch over, which wasn't too problematic. The thing that had bothered me is that I never felt it before that. Maybe that's just my problem. I wasn't paying attention. However, the thing that's really concerned me more is that at times it's gotten kind of rough. Not horrendously rough, but enough that me listening to my music at full blast, I can feel it. And it does annoy me. And it leads me to some concerns about the longevity of a car that only has about 4,000 miles on it, of its e-CVT transmission already showing a kind of transition like that. As to whether that really has to do with the transmission, I really don't know. I don't understand these cars so much. Either way, I took it to the dealership, and it, of course, does it all the time, except when I put this very friendly guy from Charlie's. He sat in the car and drove with me, and we drove for 30, 40 minutes, and it never happened while he was in the car, so he could explain to me, hey, Mr. Verdier, chill out, you're a bit of a doofus, it's normal for the car. Either way, it's something you should know. It's not bad, but this car has taken it a little higher than I think it should. A viewer, Aaron Hall, he also commented, and he said, "We have an EX in sight, and I think I know what you're talking about in relation to the slipping you feel. If the little alerts are slight upshift in power when your computer is switching sources, usually when disengaging the clutch pack for just the electric motor. And I believe that it's due to the RPM shift. The engine is going from mechanically driving back to electrically driving to the RPMs have to change. Another reason is when switching a battery, there might be a volt amperage change while the engine is spinning down." He goes on to explain he's a nerd. Yes, we are all nerds, especially, well, I used to be a nerd. I'm actually just an old fogey now. I don't have the nerd mentality anymore. Just an idea. I think more than likely it's normal for the car, and then I'm just overly concerned about it. I don't think it should be as rough as it is, but that roughness doesn't happen often, so it is something to keep in mind. The other issue that I've already shown a video about is the fact that this car, on very many occasions, does not recognize other cars if you're going 30 to 40 miles per hour on your adaptive cruise control. Will not, and I hate doing this because I'm going to show you how dirty my car is, it will not recognize a car sitting at a light. And literally, you'll drive right into the back of it if you don't hit the brakes yourself. Wow, Ruby is filthy. And yes, that's her name, Ruby. I have serious concerns about this. Now, this could actually be just a limitation of the ACC. However, I have mentioned before that my Ford Fusion pretty much doesn't do this. I thought it did do it like 5-10% of the time. Actually, the only times I've actually seen it do it is in situations where the cruise control really would normally have a problem, like going down a semi-steep hill and the car is slightly curved off to the side in a curving kind of turn at a light, in which case the Fusion did not see it. In all other instances, though, the Fusion will see these cars at that speed and will engage its brakes, and the ACC will see it in its radar. I went to Charlie's and discussed it with them. They saw the video. They said, unfortunately, after doing some research, they couldn't find any codes or any known issues. And, you know, without those kind of issues, there's not much they really can do, because basically the car is under warranty, and, you know, what can they do? I mean, they can't sit there and do a realignment of the camera and the radar, which is like a 3-hour job, just to find out Honda won't pay for it because, you know, they basically, you know, they can't show a problem with the car. I don't take any offense at this. I mean, Charlie's is not in the not in the business of giving away all their services. Wow, she's filthy on the back. That's something about this car. She gets really filthy in the back. I guess that's common for many cars, but really bad on this one. So I understood that there really wasn't anything they could do. I was a little surprised that the video didn't seem to matter much, but I don't know. Maybe it's a normal response from this car. I have contacted Honda. They've set me up an appointment with a different dealership that's closer to me. Unfortunately, the only problem with Charlie's is that they're 30 minutes away from me. I do have one that's close by, but they didn't have the great deal on the car, and I like to try to give Charlie's the work. You know, they did me good on this car, and I highly recommend them. But she set up an appointment. I called it first, and I got a regular person trying to go over the manual with me and all that, which was nice, and she was very nice. And I told her, look, I consider this a very serious issue. I said, I'm not going to get into an accident doing this because I'm very careful. I mean, I may get into an accident, but probably not for that reason. I don't trust the adaptive cruise control automatically. So I told her, please do me a favor. Please move it up the line because I consider this a safety concern for regular drivers. Now, nobody in the forums has mentioned this, but I don't know how many people in the forums drive under cruise control under 99.9% of the time, which is what I do. So, I'm sorry, I'm long-winded. I always am. So, basically, someone called me back later, a very nice young lady named Catherine, and I discussed the situation. I told her my concern. I said, you know, look, maybe this is a normal accident, or maybe it's just a software issue. However, the only way to know, I said we can prove it, but proving it puts the car in jeopardy. You literally have to drive at another car sitting at a light at 35 miles per hour, and if it's, you know, one of the techs driving it, they may not know to hit the brakes in time before smashing my car. So I said, you know, I don't know what we can do. I said, it's a 3-hour job. I mean, that's $350 to do a realignment of the radar and the camera. It's a lot of work. It's 3 hours of work. And I don't expect the dealer to just pay for it, but I don't expect to pay for it either, because that's the only thing I can think of, unless there's actually a software issue. You know, it's getting cold out here. Unless there's actually a software issue, or, you know, they can't find a hardware issue. She says they have to rely on the dealers to diagnose these types of things. So she called up the dealer, set me up an appointment, and I'm going to go in on Friday, and they're going to find nothing, as far as I'm willing to bet. Maybe they will. I don't know. I'm rather pessimistic, because, as I said, there may be nothing really wrong with the car. I think there is a serious flaw in this aspect of the cruise control, and it's not on the Ford. And the Ford's a 2019. This is a 2019. I'm willing to bet the systems probably come from the same manufacturers, if not so similar. It's, you know, whatever. Either way, she said she needs a diagnostics of some kind, and I said, that's fine. I'm going to go, and we're going to see what happens. So I will leave you guys up in a loop on that. Now, before we go to the inside of the car, because I want to discuss a few things, including how to get to the service menu, something I also learned on the forum site. Sorry for that. I'm opening up a piece of paper. I wanted to let you know the addresses of the two places I go to for the forums. One of them is called insightcentral.net. Now, this one handles most of the insights, and there's a section for the 3rd generation, which is what this is. So they're not as active for the 3rd generation, but it's still good stuff to learn there. The one that's really big on this is gen3insight.com. That's GEN, the number 3, insight.com. That's where you're going to find most of the discussion about this car. Very smart people over there. They're very good at pointing out things, although they're very big on MPG, you know, miles per gallon, all that. That kind of stuff, while important, is not really stuff I big on talking about. You know, you're dealing in numbers, and I'm a bit aphasic, so I don't remember things very well. So we're going to pause this overly long video, and I might actually turn this into 2 videos later, because I think I'm going to do driving on cruise control and give you guys an idea of how this car responds in cruise control fully for a full drive. All right, so I'm going to pause it real quick, and we're going to get in the car and show you one other little thing on how to get to the service menu of the car. Oh, one last thing. Actually, we're just going to walk in. I have been trying to find a good seat cover for this car. This seat cover sucks. It works, but it sucks. And you know what? I think I'm going to change the all-season mats. I'm thinking about getting the Tux mat versions. If I do get those, I'm going to do a review on them, and I will show you what they look like and how they go in. They look very heavy-duty. I have only found one place that has custom mats for the Insight. Unfortunately, they've only measured for the LX and the EX, which have non-electric seats, and this has the electric seat. And, you know, they invited me to come, and they'd be glad for free to do a scan on the car and set it up. Unfortunately, they're in California. So if there's anyone in California who wants to go somewhere, give me a little holler at verdier400@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to tell you where to go, and they can do the measurements, and I'll buy them, because I can get them for about $180, custom made. Beautiful. All right, that's as far as we're going to go on that. All right, so you can see I got a holder now, so we don't have to worry too much about my fat, you know, big mammal fingers getting in the way, or fluffy fingers getting in the way. The heat is going full blast. I got it set a little on the high side today. I'm a little chilled. It's 26 degrees, so I'm a bit chilled. Not too long ago, well, a little while ago, probably a month or 2 ago, someone found out the way to get into the, what do you call it? Into the service menu. Be careful when going into service menus, guys. You never can tell what's going to happen, whether you're going to screw things up. But we're going to go ahead and show you how to do that, assuming I get it done right. Basically, you hold down 3 buttons. You hold down the power button, the previous track button, that would be power button, previous track button, and the home button, and you hold them down for 5 seconds. It's going to be a little difficult doing it like this, but we're going to see if I can. I don't know if you do it from a startup or not, but we're going to do it right now. Hold them for 5 seconds. There you go. Let's go into 2 times mode and get a little closer so we can look at this. Obviously, this is just general looking. You're probably not going to fool around with too much of this. But let's take a quick look at it. Self-diagnosis mode, Navi will check internal functions, connections, etc. Well, that's bad. Perform this test with stopped and engine running. So let's go ahead and press the self-diagnostic mode and see if it does anything. So basically, you got a whole bunch of buttons here you can press. I don't know if we're really going to fool around with too many of these things. I'm going to let you guys try them. I do know that one of the things generally not worth testing. Well, let's press something. Let's see what gyro sensor says. Probably says nothing. 3-axis acceleration sensor. You press it and interesting. I have no idea what it's doing, but we're going to hit return because I don't want to mess anything up. Sorry about the thing. We're going to hit return back again. And basically, there's a bunch of things you can check here. One thing that basically was generally recommended not to fool around with, I mean, you can go look into the thing, is the lane watch. And so forth. Connection, okay. All right. Well, maybe it may not be that particular one, but there is one for lane watch resetting the lane watch. So that's for re-aiming. There is a video online on how to re-aim your lane watch. So if your lane watch gets off, you know, to make sure all those lines line up properly, so you know, there is a way to do it. And you can do it online. It involves usually like a ladder and a paper with some stuff drawn on it or whatever. I don't recommend fooling around with it. It's probably best to stay away from it because it's a lot of work. So we're going to hit the return here. And detailed information setting. Monitor check, beacon. See, a lot of this stuff is, yeah, guideline setup. That's something you do not want to fool around with if you can help it. Audio checks are going to give you little sounds and so forth, probably through the speakers. Oh my God, this is a big mistake, but I'm going to press it anyway. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ah, cool. So at least the volume isn't set too high, I guess. You can change to your surround left, surround right, center. Oh, the bane of this car, the center channel. Whoa, that's my real subwoofer. Front tweeter left, right, surround tweeter. Hit return. This is just basic stuff. You guys can fool around with it. Don't fool around with the guideline setup and stuff like that. You can check things out and, you know, see what's going on. But this is just giving you an idea of the system check. So you can, you know, check a few things on your own if you're curious about something that's going on. But otherwise, there isn't really much else left to talk about concerning that. Everything seems to be running fine. I got the, oh boy, I need to shut off the other, I only had it on because I had some food in the other seat. Yes, that's right. You know, I don't get fat by not eating. And yes, I do eat plenty. And I got this one set a little high too. But that's basically all I have to say pretty much today, which was quite a bit. What I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up to do a drive. I have a new holder. We'll see how it works. And I'm going to try to do an ACC drive with the autonomous cruise control and show you how it responds at full traffic and all driving around and give you an idea what it looks like. Okay? So for now, Verdier out, and I hope this video helped you. It's a lot of bitching and moaning and talking, but I'll let you know what's going on. And if anyone has any other ideas or any other things they need to know about, let me know. I really don't know what to do about the hood. There are other channels that have talked about setting up gaps and so forth with doors and so forth, mostly on a Honda. But with the hood, if it's something that really concerns you, you can go to the dealership and discuss it and also call Honda and let them know about it. I don't think there's really much that can be done. As long as it doesn't go flying off, I think it's more of just consider it a feature of the car. Take care, guys, and over and out.